Good morning. Hi, Liz.
Good
How are you?
morning. Good. How are you?
Doing great. Still drinking my coffee. Enjoying my morning.
Yeah, it's uh it's a good morning here in Cedar Rapids.
um, well, let's go ahead and talk about some career stuff, which is what we do at Quarter Careers. Uh, February 6th is an important day if you are a job seeker. And you
Why's
want to
that,
know
Dan?
why?
Yeah, I want to know.
You should go pick up a Gazette on Sunday, February 6th, because there's going to be a lot of advertisements in it. And those advertisements are going to have local employers that are hiring right now. And it's going to talk about what jobs they might be hiring for. So, uh, February 6th, Sunday, make sure to pick up your Sunday Gazette and check out who's hiring.
Yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be some good news in there too.
Absolutely.
And a Sunday crossword, so you can't go wrong there.
Yeah, there's multiple uses for it, right? But most importantly, you're going to see a lot of employers
All
advertising
right.
their open jobs Sunday, February 6th. So go pick that up. Well, let's get into our topic today, which is going to be visualization. So I I think about so I'm a golfer. I played a lot of golf growing up, and maybe if you're a golfer, you can relate to this. But when I think about visualization, I think about like seeing my golf shot before I hit the golf shot.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to like picture what it's going to look like before I hit it, and most of the time that does not happen on the golf course. The ball goes the opposite direction of where you want it to go. But I think that's like when I think visualization, that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Huh.
But as a job seeker, there's some different applications for visualization. So would you like to go over those?
Yeah, let's talk about a couple ways that creative visualization can help you as a job seeker. It's a totally free method to improve your job search. Hopefully, we'll give you some ideas, or you can try this out today. You can try it right after this podcast.
Cool.
All right. Well, let's just start with one. So here's one way. So you talked about being able to see the golf ball. One of the ways that I've used creative visualization in the past has been through visualizing how I'm going to feel. And so here's what I recommend for your golf swing is like, when you hit the perfect swing, what that feels like. So visualizing yourself and kind of going through the motions, and it helps to sometimes close your eyes and like feel the feelings that you would feel if you had that perfect swing. And so to bring that back to the job search method, I think one of the things that is difficult for job seekers these days, especially with everything that's going on in the world, it was just anyone, it doesn't have to be a job seeker. Everyone's dealing with anxiety and overwhelm right now. There's just a collective sense of like how heavy the times are these days. And creative visualization can help with that a little bit and give you a sense of control. Because when you're visualizing something, it hasn't happened yet. And so you can control what you think of when it happens, hopefully. And so one thing that you can do is like when you're in a relaxed state. So let's just say first thing when you're waking up in the morning, you can say, okay, I'm going to spend 5 minutes going through a visualization today. And it could just be, I'm going to visualize myself sitting at my computer to start my job search today. And we're going to visualize myself feeling relaxed.
Hmm.
And just imagining yourself feeling relaxed. And I like to tie it to a trigger. So typically if I'm doing a visualization, I'll be like, okay, when I open the door to my office, I feel relaxed. And then I go through kind of step by step. So the first step would be opening the door to my office. And when I sit down in my chair, I feel relaxed. And then when I open up my computer, I feel relaxed. Or if
Hmm.
you're just searching on your phone, before you look at your phone, I'd be like, when I turn my phone on, I feel relaxed. And when I pull up my, if I pull up Quarter Careers, let's say, I feel relaxed. And I imagine myself seeing the perfect job for me. You can do kinds of fun. That's where the creativity part comes in. I see the perfect job for me that fits my skill set, that offers the position that I'm interested in, that has the compensation and benefits I'm looking for. I mean, you can just imagine those things. If it doesn't happen, it's no sweat, but like you can feel the feeling that you would feel, if you could do the same thing, like I win the lottery, you can imagine yourself, you can just go back to that childlike sense of wonder that you can imagine whatever you want. Your brain is a free playground. So I would recommend that, because if you imagine yourself feeling relaxed, what you've done is you've rehearsed your brain to see those triggers and trigger a relaxation response instead of an anxiety response, because we're automatically overhyped right now. We're automatically overwhelmed and more prone to feel anxious or flight or fight syndrome, when a stressor. And it's very stressful to search for a job or do a job interview or any of those things, but you can use creative realization to imagine yourself being successful in that job interview, feeling relaxed. You could imagine yourself having the right answer to the question. You can do all those things. And so I found it to be super helpful in calming my mind before a big interview or just before tackling something that's stressful.
Yeah.
So I recommend
Yeah,
that.
a couple things to piggyback off that. I think one thing that came to my mind was, it's almost when you were going through talking about when you say open your computer, I feel relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost just giving yourself little reminders all the time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so I've done this before by just like, having a mark on my hand or something, or, like something, writing a little note to myself and like a sticky note and having that on my mirror in my bathroom or on my computer, like, hey, just a reminder, like, so I think that was one thing that came to mind. The other thing that came to mind for me was just, the heaviness of just everything that's been going on.
Yeah.
We're almost going on 2 years into a pandemic. And it's been rough on everybody. And just a reminder to like breathe and just know that like everything seems very heavy, right? But at the end of the day, like, I don't think when we're all on our deathbeds, we're all going to look back and like think about like one specific day, like, wow, this was such a big deal in my life. Like, we're going to, think back about, wow, that was a weird time living through a pandemic. But I don't think we'll necessarily focus on like, so I would encourage people to kind of approach life just with a little more, freedom and like less anxiety. Like it's not the end of the world. Right. If that made any sense at all.
Yeah. So you were talking earlier, we were talking about how you use creative visualization for like just kind of regular old motivation. And so you want to talk a little bit about that? So what you do in the morning?
Yeah, sure. So I, for about the last year and a half, I have listened to the same 20-minute motivational YouTube video from Earl Nightingale, who is old school. If you look him up, he passed away like 30 years ago, but he did a lot of like tape recordings back in like the 50s, which are still super relevant today. I mean, he talks about some things that don't make any sense, like, your, income wise and stuff like that. But one of the things he says in there is begin to act as the person you most want to become. So starting today, begin to act as the person you most want to become, and you will eventually become that person. Right. And I think there's a lot of tie-ins, whether just in your regular life or in a job search, right? Where if you begin to act, or you can do this in a lot of different ways, right? You can start to dress like the person you most want to become. You can start to, comb your hair like the person you most want to become. I don't know, like take it as you want to, but I think there's some good tie-ins with job searching with that, because we all have dreams. And I posted this to the Corridor Careers Instagram account yesterday, that a dream is just a set of a goal, right? A dream can be broken down into goals, which can be broken down into daily habits and routines. So I gave the example in that post The dream is for a job seeker, maybe to become a human resource manager. So that's the dream. So the goal maybe for this year is to complete your PHR exam, which is a human resource exam that a lot of human resource managers have. There's several of them, I think. And so what is that daily habit that you could do today to start working towards that goal and that dream? Well, you could start studying, or you could purchase a practice exam, right, for your PHR exam. So I think when you start to break it down into daily habits and routines, what your big dreams are, and like your long-term visualizations of what you want, you can, break it down into very simple daily habits and routines, and just moving each day just a little bit, like, will add up big time over time.
Yeah, that's really good advice, because it's okay. It's okay to dream big, but unless you kind of craft that dream into actions that you're going to take, it's not like it's going to get dropped in your lap.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to break it down. And actually, by breaking it down, you exert a little more control over that potential. And you also set yourself up for better success. And also figuring out, is that dream actually what you want anymore?
Yeah.
Because if you started practicing for that exam and realized, I'm not sure this is my dream anymore, then you'll know, and you'll be able to shift. And I don't know. I think that's a good plan.
Cool. Yeah. And process, right? Kind of.
Yeah.
You got to fall in love with the process, and like you alluded to, like if you don't love the process, maybe it's not quite the right path. So.
It's hard to remember sometimes, when, especially living through times like these, that there are unlimited possibilities.
Yes.
There really are.
Yeah.
And the perfect place to play in that space is in your mind. Like, open your mind to the potential that there are unlimited possibilities, and just start to explore those things. And that's free. The only one stopping you is your own kind of habitual mind games that you play with yourself. So just break those down, and let's let go of those this year.
Yeah, I love that. All right. Anything else before we sign off? I think I have one more thing, actually.
Yeah, you go.
When you just said that, I think a great way to kind of get creative and get out of your thoughts that your daily where you're going through on a day-to-day basis, is just to get outside. Go get some fresh air. And I know it's snowing and it's been cold in Iowa right now, but and get outside. Get into nature. Like, I think that's just a great way to kind of reset.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll hear some recurring themes on the Careers and Coffee Pod. That is one of them. Easier to follow that advice in the summertime, but
yeah.
But you can get out there, and you can also just go to the mall and walk around.
Yes, absolutely. You got to take that time for yourself.
Yep.
If you're going to be creative, I think.
All right, guys. Well, hopefully this was helpful. Try these tips today, and good luck in your job search.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.